Good evening once again, everyone. This is Abigail Addison, and you're welcome to the Abi Imani Reviews show. We thank God for bringing us to another session. I want to apologize for the background. Our power is out, so I'm using rechargeable lamps. I hope that you can see me well. Thank God my ring light doesn't require ECG, so that I'm able to put on. We thank God for this. So we'll take off with a word of prayer, and I'd like to call on Auntie Emily, if you are there, can you please pray with us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's share a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for bringing us together once again to discuss vital topics that impact our lives. We thank you for preserving our lives and even making this time possible, O Lord. Lord, before the foundation of the world, you knew that this was going to happen. So we invite your presence into our midst. Holy Spirit, we pray that you will touch the hearts and minds of every speaker, the facilitator, the contributors. Lord, we pray that you will give everyone a sound mind, oh Lord, and the right words to even say, oh Most High God. And we pray that we'll leave here learning vital things that we can apply to our lives and be walking testaments, Lord, that would bring glory and honor to the praise of your holy name. We glorify your name through Jesus Christ our Lord. We pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Auntie Emily. So like I said before, this is the Abi Imani Reveals show. This is where we speak, we are real so that we can live. Today we have a very interesting topic, and I have two good friends of mine to speak to us on that. And it's concerning our Ghanaian environment, how friendly it is, and how it's able to support our brothers and sisters who have spent time outside and have come back, have decided to come back to the motherland to start business, to settle down and to start business. And I wouldn't want to say much, but before I go to them, I would like to remind us that they're going to speak. And then while they speak, if you have questions, you can either wait and then raise your hand or call you during the Q&A, or you type it in the chat, and then again during the Q&A, I'll read it out for answers. So welcome once again, and I'm not going to introduce them, they'll introduce themselves. The first one, he's called Adams Amisu. He, like I said, has been out and has come back, and he started a very successful business, and he'll tell us the challenges and the successes as well. And then he'll be followed by Setou Avotri, who came some years ago, started a business and had to leave because of some challenges, and he'll tell us about that as well. So without saying much, Adams is right here with me, so I'm going to bring him into the shot. Adams, draw closer to me. I hope we can see him. This is Adams Amisu.
Hello, everyone.
So over to you, Adams. Here's your audience.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for having me on the show. First and foremost, Emily, that was a fantastic prayer. Thank you very much. Again, it's a pleasure to be on the show, and it's something that I think is going to be very important for everybody in the audience, and also to understand some of the challenges that we go through coming back from outside and trying to do business here. A little about me. Prior to moving back to Ghana, I had served few years in the U.S. military. I resigned, and I thought it would be a good idea to just move back home and see what I can do to contribute to my community, the very place that everything started for me. So we're gonna, talk more as the show goes on, and I don't want to take too much time here with the introduction. Thank you.
So you can go on and share your experience.
Oh,
After
sure.
that, then we'll
Oh,
take
okay,
the
okay.
questions and
I
answers.
thought the other host was gonna introduce himself. So, there's a little bit of a backstory to my coming back to Ghana. The last semester of my college, I took up a research project, and the theme was social entrepreneurship in emerging market. So I thought it would be a fantastic opportunity to actually come back to Ghana and do that project here. I fell in love with the concept of social entrepreneurship, and it's something that I thought uh, back in Africa here we could definitely utilize, in the sense that uh, it's a new way to do business and move away from just the bottom line as the focus. It's all about money, 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 money. But social entrepreneurship puts a different kind of spin, in the sense that you're doing business, but you also care about impact. You ask yourself, whatever it is that I'm trying to do, how is that going to impact society as a whole? So it was something that I thought it was an amazing concept. So I came back to Ghana. I traveled to, at the time, I traveled to 9 out of the 10 regions, at the time, and I met amazing people, fellow entrepreneurs, community leaders, folks in the nonprofit sector, and just listening to their stories and their backgrounds and experiences and all that. I was so inspired and encouraged by the so many talents, and the fact that everybody was just trying to find creative ways to solve different issues in their various communities. So I was really moved by that. I went back to the US and finished up my last semester of college, and beginning of 2018 I came back to Ghana. Should I continue? Okay, sure. So I came back to Ghana, and I thought the best way to actually go about it is to, instead of just being an individual coming back from overseas, I am coming back with an experience, some resources and all that. Instead of just going out on my own, I thought it would be a great opportunity to actually partner with somebody. And I'm so keen on partnership, in the sense that out there, you realize that partnerships and networking are something they leverage a whole lot. It's all about life. It's all about forming meaningful connections and relationships, And I thought the very way to actually change what I think it has really been such a disaster for us as Africans is the fact that you will find that someone who is an entrepreneur, who has successful businesses, after they pass on, they passed away, everything dies with them. That's it. Like the businesses, everything collapse, because there is no succession plan, and a lot of times it's just individuals doing the business, right? So I thought, okay, the way to reverse that is to actually through partnerships. That if we form partnerships and we create a business, if anything happens to me, nobody could come to my partner or partners and say, you know what, we come in to take over the business. No, they can't do that, because I own a share in that. They could take that share and own that, or actually sell that, but the business that we've created is still going to remain. And why am I so passionate about this? This is why. When I was much younger and I moved to the US, something I was most impressed by was the fact that I would go to like a company, and you will see on the plaque, and it says 50 years, 100 years, 150 years. And I would look back to Ghana, and I would think about the fact that we don't really have that. So a lot of times, or most of the times, we don't create generational wealth. Everything dies with the individual, and that's it. So we have to find ways to actually correct that. And speaking of social entrepreneurship, the business that I co-founded with my childhood friend is called Bayloft International, and it's a supply chain business, food commodity trading. Examples are like big bags of rice, cooking oil, sugar, and all of that. And what we do is that instead of taking money from our clients, we foot the bill, and we do everything, and we will give the goods to them on credit basis and give them some time to actually pay us back. And it is in line with keeping with the spirit of social entrepreneurship, in the sense that most of the times they don't have the money or the resources to actually foot the bill up front. So this is a way to give them some cushioning, and we take full risk. And it comes with its own challenges, but it's been successful. 3 years into the business, we have few challenges here and there, but for the most part, it's been successful. And at this point, we're looking to actually scale up a little bit. So yeah, I would just wait for questions and stuff like that. I don't want to spend too much time knowing that there's another host, guest on the show. So
yeah. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much, Adams. So we'll move on to you, Seto. You can unmute yourself. Let's see your face. Yeah. Good to see you.
Hello, everybody. I'm still in the office. I was telling Abigail, the time slot for this show doesn't work for North Americans very well, because
sorry about
we're
that.
right smack in the middle of the workday, but I was able to make time for the show today. And you look good, Abigail, by the way.
You. So do you.
So tomorrow is the birthday, so yeah.
Yes, I know. So this is the
now everybody knows.
Yeah.
All right.
So first of all, thanks for having me here. I'm very grateful that you reach out to me. I'm looking at the participant list right now. I see a few familiar names that I guess I don't need to introduce myself, but I will. My name is Seto Abotri. I've been in the States for a while. I moved here pretty young, relatively over 25 years ago.
Wow.
And so I've been in North America basically. My first job was in the States, came for college, and I've never worked in Ghana before. We moved back, and when we moved back, it was to set up a business. So I'll give you a brief structure of how we decided to move back. So back in 2005, it was myself, my brother, and a cousin of ours. We decided to go back, young, very daring, entrepreneurial, try to see if we can set something up and make some money, but at the same time give back to the society. So we formed a company called Web Maple Solutions, and that had 3 legs. It had a software development, IT solution, and a microfinance. Because my cousin was more of a software designer, I'm into IT solution provision, and my brother was the finance guy. So that was the leg of the business. So with that plan, my brother and my cousin moved earlier to Ghana in 2005. Fairly young, no commitments, no wives, no children. So it was easy to just get up and move. So it was very exciting, actually, something that we were really looking forward to. So the plan was to get to Ghana, start the software development aspect of the business and use the money that comes from there to grow the other aspects of the business. And like magic, as soon as they landed, that's exactly how it worked out. We were getting contracts for the software development. back to back to back. And it was great. Life was good, right? But money can create problems, even among family. So we had a little bit of misunderstanding, and unfortunately, we had a split up. And but it was for a good thing, and Avot Solutions was born from that split up. That was between myself and my brother. And with Avot Solutions, we focused on the IT aspect of the business and also the finance or the microfinance aspect of the business. So with the IT aspect of the business, we set up a print shop somewhere in Adenta area. We were doing small scale printing, some large scale printing if we are able to get those contracts. And things were great. Business was good, life was good, single, young, no family, as in wife or children. So everything was great in our opinion. We did the business for about a year and a half, 2 years, and so we were ready to take it up to the next level. So we needed some cash injection. So I had to move back to the States to get a job, to pump in some cash. Fortunately, the opportunity was there for me based on my field, so it just worked out great. Now, before we moved back, we did our research, right? We did a basic research on what we needed to do, what the needs are gonna be, and we were pretty confident in our research and our results that we had on paper. But what we realized is being on the ground is totally different from having a book knowledge of a place that even though we were from Ghana, our adult life or our young adult life has been in the United States. So we had no clue about how things really worked in Ghana. So we ran into a lot of challenges. And we also had a lot of success. But I like to focus on the success first, because I like good news before I hear bad news. The system is in our beloved Ghana country. There are systems in place for you to maneuver around and get things done. It's just that we don't follow the systems in place because everybody is trying to get a fast one, right? So I'll give you an example. An example like getting a driver's license. When we first got to Ghana, we needed to have a driver's license to be able to drive around legally. So everybody was saying, "Oh, I know somebody who can do it for you, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, I want to go through the system to realize how it works, how things are, so that I can learn for myself and get to know how the system works, how it's structured. Believe it or not, it's just structured like North American system, where you go through the process and you get your driver's license and you can drive in Ghana. But it's just so decentralized that you have to go from one place to the other, to the other. At the end of the day, you probably end up seeing 6 different people, but you will get your driver's license. To me, the systems seem to be in place, but we don't follow the systems to the end or to get what we need to get. And that is what, in my opinion, breeds about majority or the biggest problem or our challenges that we faced in Ghana, which is corruption, which I know still goes on right now. And I'll give you some basic examples that we ran into doing business in Ghana, which had to do with corruption. Number one was corruption at the government level, right? With even basic amenities like telephone, electricity, water, we had difficulty getting those things to our home as well as our business location, because everybody wants a brown envelope or a white envelope or whatever it is you have to grease some palms for you to get service that you are ready and willing to pay for. And that was our biggest challenge that we faced running our business in Ghana. And I'm sure it's still going on today. And a typical example was we were trying to get a telephone service to our office location, and we had to go to GT office somewhere around Circle area, I believe. And we were just kept tossed around from one location to the other. Eventually, we gave up and we had to run our business using cell phones, which was what we really didn't want to do at that time. But that was the only option that we had left if we wanted to, do our business and run and make some money. And so those were some of the biggest challenges that we faced. And we were getting contracts on the government level. But eventually we decided we weren't going to do business with the government sector. And this was why. Before you even are allowed to bid on a contract, and they don't even hide it, you go for an initial meeting, they'll tell you you have to put 30% down for the price of the contract before you be allowed to bid on it. Now, mind you, that doesn't even guarantee you the contract. That's just for you to be able to bid on the contract. And this was so foreign to us because we never really lived in the system. We never, worked in Ghana. So the very first one was, a cultural shock to us. Second one, we had 3 government contracts. All of them were the same thing, 30%. That's the magic number. And so we decided we were just not going to deal with any government contracts anymore. So we focused mostly on the private sector. And we were able to grow our business to some extent. And as I said, we needed a cash injection. So one of us had to come back to the States. What we realized was for you to be a successful business person in Ghana, you need ground network. You need to be able to network with the local people. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how long you've been away. If you don't have a good local network, we believe you would not succeed. And we had to learn that really quick. Money is great, but money without networking is not going to get you any further. And so we were able to establish some really, really good network resources that I still use up to today and that I reach out to from time to time because the goal is to go back and give it another shot. Would I do it again? Yes, I would. But now it's a little more difficult because life has evolved. We have families, we have children, we have spouses. So right now the focus is to settle the family and hopefully move the whole family back to Ghana and try and give it another shot. And with all the lessons that we've learned from over 10, 12 years ago, it's still valuable. And I strongly believe that the market is there. The opportunities are always there in Ghana. And people like us who have been away for so long, we want to come back and give back to society and bring our knowledge and that we've acquired living in somebody else's country to help build our own country. So would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again. And would I trade my experience for anything else? I would not. And I greatly appreciate the opportunity that I had and the experience that I gained for the 2 years that I was in Ghana. Unfortunately, we all had to move back here to the States. So Avot Solutions officially folded after 5 or 6 years in operation. In a nutshell, that's my experience running a business in Ghana. So I would stop here for now and then leave the rest for Q&A when people have questions.
Thank you so much, Seto. That sounds very positive. Most of the time when I hear stories of people coming down to Ghana. It sounds quite, how do I say it, negative, yeah, so to speak. They're always talking about the difficulty in establishing, and I hear lots of stories of people who have given up and gone back. But so far, you and Adams have given a different story, a more positive story. Okay, so I'll open up the floor for questions. If anyone has any questions for the two of them, kindly raise your hand or unmute your mic and you can ask a question. So the floor is open. Okay, while we wait for people to ask their question, I'll start. So in terms of working with Ghanaians, how was your experience and the attitude of the people? Were they effective, etc.? What would you say? Starting with Seto, and then Adams will also speak.
Attitude-wise, this is it. People don't keep to their words. They'll tell you they do something, they would not do it. So coming from here, with the mentality of, yeah, I'm gonna be there at 2 p.m. You get there at 1:55 latest, and the person will show up at 3 p.m. All right, gross disrespect for your time, and it was annoying, very annoying at the beginning, but we got to accept the fact that that is the system. People are not willing to do work, or they don't keep to their words. So they tell you one thing and they do something else. That was the attitude that we encountered. One other thing that we learned, right, was our business model was to go get what a customer needs, deliver the product, and then we get payment for the product. But we had to quickly learn that if you don't have people put down a down payment, their interest in what you're selling or their interest in the service that you're providing, it's low. Until they put something down, they would not take you serious. It was against our business model, but we had to learn quickly and operate with the way the terrain is run. And that's just what we have to do. You have to adjust. Your paper research, it's important, but when you get to the ground, it's a totally different ballgame, which you have to be ready to adjust. And that's one of the things we learned about people's attitude.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from Wilson. Wilson says that, what would you do differently with your previous experience? So, sorry, I was supposed to allow Adams to speak. Okay, Wilson, we'll come to your question. So Adam, share your experience in terms of the working with people in Ghana. How was it like?
It's at the beginning, I felt like it was very, very challenging for me. And luckily, my business partner, he's been so used to the system around here, so he provided a bit of a cushion for me to kind of land on each time I get so frustrated. For instance, like Seto was pointing out, you come to realize that a lot of us have this lackadaisical attitude, like everything is just I would take my time, nothing, there's no sense of urgency basically. And I think when I look back and continue to explore and think about situations on the ground, I feel like a lot of our issues actually stem from our attitude, because we I'm afraid to say we seem not to be serious people. We say one thing, then another. So there's a lot of lack of integrity, and you spend a lot of time, instead of actually managing projects, you end up managing people, and it's tough. So a way around that, how I've been able to deal with that is the fact that I do a lot of legwork trying to recruit people that I think they get it. Like, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of going through steps and this and letting you know that, hey, this is how we do business. If you want to do business with us for continuity, you have to understand that we do business this way. If you can go with how we do business, then we can do some business together. So that is something that has really helped us a lot to avoid situation where we end up with people who are just not serious, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get things done.
So when you have people like that, do you have something in place to help them in terms of attitudinal change?
So what I do personally is that we will have a few meetings. Like, for instance, the way I go about assigning projects and tax and stuff is like I don't give out the big project yet. I will want to test the person out to see how serious they are, right? So I will give something small, something that I know that I can afford to kind of not care if anything goes wrong, just to kind of feel the person out, whether or not he or she is serious. So then we will do some sort of assessment to see what went right, what went wrong, if there's some room for improvement, some coaching and all that. Because I strongly believe that a lot of times, you have to also give people second chances. Sometimes it just some misunderstanding, or you trying to kind of figure each other out. It's just like dating, right? You just don't meet somebody, you date them today, and the next day you're getting married, right? So it's a relationship building. So I take a step back, and right from the get-go, a lot of times you're able to tell the very ones who are really willing to do something. Like they're serious, they want to do something, they want to improve their lives, they want to better their lives and all that kind of. So some seriousness from the people is how we are motivated by, and how we go about assigning projects and giving people business and stuff like that.
Okay. So how about you, Seto? How did you go about developing such people or helping them?
Well, I can probably speak to what I would do differently if I get the opportunity to do it again, or I should say when I get the opportunity to do it again. I will focus more on training. Right, the potential is there. Like he said, trying to figure out those who are willing to extend their potential, give them the necessary tools that they need to succeed, and help them grow and help them understand. Now, what you need to understand is nobody is going to be as passionate about your business as you are, right? They will never get to that level. So you can expect a high performance from them, but they will never get to your level of passion that you have for your business. Make the necessary tools, resources available to them, and you will be able to separate the people with potential from the people who just don't want to do work but just want to get paid. And so that's one thing I would do different. I would expand my network as well. The networking is extremely, extremely important in my opinion, especially with the locals. And try to do business outside of Accra, and visit, expand your territories to all the other regions as much as you can, whatever your resources will allow you to be able to achieve.
Okay, thank you. So I guess what you've said ties into the next question from Wilson. It says that what would you do differently with your previous experience? So you've talked about how to develop your workforce. What else would you do differently? Then Adams will also speak.
Right now, right, in preparation to I guess, my second coming, I try to
Of
visit.
Christ, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I try to visit Ghana at least twice a year. Um, that goes to about a month out of the 12 months. Even though that's not gonna get me a solid idea of what's going on in the country, it'll give me some idea. Try to touch base, have a feel, and look for myself what is actually going on in the country. Trying to see things for myself, preparing the groundwork for me to undertake the adventure again. And so that's one thing we did not do when we initially came in 2005. We took certain things for granted. We assumed that they'll be available. Example, we assumed all we have to do was call the utility company and your power, your light, your telephone will be turned on. These kind of challenges were assumptions that we got from just living in North America, and we were naive. Those are things I would do different. I would do differently. Make sure keep in touch with fellow entrepreneurs back home, family, friends. As I said, expand my network on the ground, and that definitely, in my opinion, will go a long way to help.
Okay. Sorry, I'm typing what you just wrote as a reminder. Okay, so Adams, tell us. You are still here. You're in the
Right,
business, but
right. So,
are there stuff that you've done
right.
that
So
you
I will
rather
share a little story, like to that effect. I remember when I was still back in the U.S. and fellow Ghanaians will come back home and they will bring back their reports about Ghana, and they talk about all these challenges and stuff. I would just tell them that, hey, you guys are being a bit too much. You from Ghana, and going back, you just got to take it easy, blah blah blah. So fast forward, then my time came and I moved back to Ghana, and I had to call everybody and apologize to them. And I told them that, dude, you guys were so right. That you're just so much. So when Soto will talk about being on the ground is so much different from your research on paper, I couldn't agree more. There is so much that I feel like if you've lived out there and you come back, if you are not determined enough, you would definitely move back. That's for a fact. Because it could be the most basic thing that you were trying to get accomplished, but there will be so much frustration that you would just pack and move back. And to me, I think my call to action to my my brothers and sisters out there is that we cannot allow these challenges and frustrations to actually stop us from coming back and capitalizing on the opportunities that we have here. Yeah, in the sense that you have so many foreigners living in Ghana right now, and they're doing amazing businesses. They're taking advantage of all the opportunities. And what is personally heartbreaking to me is the fact that the monies that they make here, they don't stay and help the local economy. They just send them back to their individual countries. And we really losing. Why? Because folks like myself and Seto and others, when we do come back, guess what? The monies that we make will stay because we have vested interest here, and it's going to help the local economy. It's going to help our families, various communities, and all of that. For me, I gotta admit that I was very fortunate to have a business partner who has been here for all this while, And coming back, he was able to help me kind of go through the frustrations. And a lot of times when we visit places, he would tell me not to say anything, because when I think something doesn't make sense, I would just let him know, and he would just kind of tap on my back and say, I got this. Let me just deal with these people. So a lot of that really helped me a lot, and I think what I will recommend others do, speaking to what Seto was actually pointing to, is the fact that I would encourage people to come back more often and visit. Because if not, if you stay out too long and you come back, it's too much of that cultural shock. But the more you come back and you understand why things are the way they are and why people do what they do, there's a different level of appreciation that you start to understand, because we cannot bring what we experienced out there in terms of how business is done here, because it's a different environment. You have to understand the psychology of the people and why things are the way they are. So for me, I would spend a lot more time. I would come back home more often, networking. It's I cannot emphasize that enough, and leverage that. And also another thing that I personally would want to encourage everybody is the fact that we have to move away from the whole government thing, in terms of, okay, how do we find ways to empower each other economically, right? If we really find ways to take our own economic destinies in our own hands, guess what? Over time, government, quote unquote, will be almost irrelevant, because the people, can develop themselves, they can sustain themselves. So it's more about being able to then take power back from government, and government will be it has no choice but to listen to us, because when you go out there, that's basically what businesses have been able to do. You have companies, example like Apple, over $1 trillion in assets. So they're able to push for policies and changes and all that kind of stuff. And government will have to listen to them because they are that powerful. So it's my hope that as Ghanaians, we able to start thinking in terms of, okay, how do we form these partnerships? How do we build trust among ourselves? Because a lot of times I really think that the reason why people are so focused on being individual and doing their own thing is the fact that people are not sure if others will do right by them. So they're motivated by fear, and that really becomes a missed opportunity, because there's so much to be gained if you come together, if you partner. Not only are you pulling resources together, but you're able to leverage each other's skill set and experiences, and that is massive. So you'll be able to achieve a lot more than individually you're able to do. So that is where I will end and take more questions if anyone has it.
Yeah, thank you. So I see Auntie Emily's hand up. Auntie Emily, can you please go on?
Yeah, I think mine is more of a comment than a question, only to say that hearing these two speakers, I'm really encouraged. Encouraged in the sense that once upon a time, I don't think that we're the first generations to have lived outside Ghana. But once upon a time, our predecessors would actually, get into the country and get frustrated with the structures that exist and would come back again. But this time around, I'm seeing people who have that grit, who have a lot of courage and that determination, and are not willing to just let go because of the challenges they may have encountered during the first time. And we heard it from Seto as well, talking about his second coming. So it's very encouraging, and I think that there's a lot of potential that can be got from these types of mindset and attitudes, trying to go back to the country and change, just be instruments of change. So I'll just encourage everyone to keep looking, not to give up this hope. Obviously, whether or not we have time on our side, we don't know. On our side, we don't know. But then, God knows, and He certainly will bless, every action that is taken to glorify Him. So I would say I'm very encouraged, because coming in here, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I've been encouraged by these two speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Auntie Emily, for your contribution. Are there any more questions for Adams and Settle?
Okay, I will add a little bit to what Emily was saying, and when she mentioned change and the potential we have and all that, I couldn't agree more, because this is my my experience when I went out there. When you talk about older generation, when they traveled overseas, it was so different from our generation, in the sense that the older generation, it was more about, okay, I'm going out there, I just want to make some money and come back, maybe build a house, all that, have a good time and all that kind of stuff. But our generation is a lot different, in the sense that all my friends, I can tell you that much, all my friends are all professionals, doctors, engineers, professors, all that kind of stuff. We all went to school. We will work, and at night we will go do security work. The next day we go to school, and today, fast forward, all of them are professionals and stuff. So I see so much potential, and I truly believe that our generation, we are the game changers. We really have what it takes to really change, Ghana or Africa, for that matter, for the better, because the talent is there. We have the skill set, we have the experience, and I think we have to really find ways to actually pull together. I think that's something that we've suffered from a lot, and we continue to suffer from that, because we are too individually focused, and it's so heartbreaking, because out there, almost every company, almost every business is shared. They have shared ownerships, partnerships and all that. So they're able to create generational wealth. It's amazing. How I have friends from families that I learned from them how before they were born, their great grandparents actually started something, and they bought a lot of shares in companies, and so they have monies actually waiting for them to be born to actually take that money, and some of them, they don't even have to work for the rest of their lives. I don't know if we have anything like that in Ghana. So it goes to show that if we plan our lives, if we understand that we cannot live for just today, we have to live for tomorrow, in the sense that I feel like in the 21st century, we cannot afford to even say we're thinking about the future. It's more about, we have to think about the fact that whatever it is that we're doing today, we have to ask ourselves, how is that gonna impact generations to come? So the more we think in terms of that, we will start to change how we do things. It's no longer going to be just about us. We will start caring about how are we going to leave this earth for posterity. What are we going to do that way life will be a bit easy for them. So these are things that I encourage everybody to start thinking about, and the more we do that, you will find out that there will be that ripple effect of we start to change as people, because now the focus is not just us. It's more about for instance, it's like being a parent. right? Or we think about our parents and how they've always cared for us, especially when you're little. You think your parents are rich. Everybody will attest to that, right? Because hardly do you lack anything. They make sure that you always smiling, you happy. But as you get older, you realize that they've made so much sacrifices for you to get to where you are. So once we start doing that, there's gonna be so much change happening internally. And this is something that I strongly believe in. I'm here. If anybody is willing to connect with me and all that, just go through Abby. I would love to actually connect, share more. I feel like time will not even allow us to, speak, on all these experiences and all that. And if you have more questions and stuff, and I'm willing to answer them offline.
Thank you so much. Okay. Settle, please go.
Okay. Yeah, just to add to what Adam was saying, right? One of the things that I've told myself, or that we've told ourselves, is not to. It's like a pipe dream, thinking you can run a business in Ghana from here. It's not. I will say it's not going to succeed unless you want to be a passive investor in a business that you don't have any really decision-making factor. If you want to run a business in Ghana, don't run it from here. You have to be on the ground. Otherwise, you're just pouring water in a basket. And that's just my personal opinion. I see Adam shaking his head.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I really could. You have to have boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm glad you pointed that out because a lot of people have made that mistake. There's a personal story. A cousin of mine did the same thing you're talking about. Like he came back, set up a business. When he was back, everything was great. Business was coming in. When he went back to the US, every day he would get a phone call. All they talk about, our problems. So out of frustration, out of disappointment, he came back, closed the business, and went back. Yeah. Right. So you have to be on the ground. You have to be on the ground. You can't just sit in an Eiffel Tower and think that things are just gonna be great if you're not there. So yeah, thank you so much for pointing that out. That is so very true.
Thank you so much. Are there any more questions? Okay, I'll read some comments. Hilaria Dongo says, great and insightful perspectives from our guests. Thanks for sharing. Okay, there's a question, but I think it was answered at the beginning by Esther. For both speakers, how easy is it to do business in Ghana? Maybe you can touch on it briefly.
So Esther, so easy is relative. In my case, I give a lot of credit to my business partner because before I came back, he had done a lot of the groundwork and so I feel like and I'm very fortunate that I didn't have to come back and it's almost like we're starting from scratch. He made sure that so many things were taken care of before I came back. The frustration part, I think Setu actually pointed to some of it already, trying to get my driver's license. So when you coming from out there, right, you want to do everything right. That's just because you're used to an environment where there is a system. There's a system in place. That works, right? Yeah, you want to do this, or you can call this, call that, and all that. And you realize that in Ghana, if you call, you'll be on phone for maybe till the second coming of Setewu. But you have to show up in person. You have to be a bit more aggressive to get things done. As much as it's frustrating, I think all of that also presents a different opportunity.
I'm so sorry. The internet just bailed out on us. It's back now.
Okay.
So I hope you can hear us and see us.
Can you hear us? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Sorry
Sorry
about
about that. So speaking of challenges, this is one of them, right? And the business Hello?
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear.
Yes,
I
we can
can
hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
No,
Hello.
no,
Yes.
please.
Can hear
No,
you.
I can't.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Alright.
This is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
When we having so much fun already, then it's
Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
welcome back.
Okay, so you can give your final remarks and then
Oh, I was just gonna take over your show.
Perfect,
No
perfect.
problem.
That was because you have much better connectivity than we do here.
I know.
So
That's right. That's right. So I mean, it was a great pleasure to be on your show. I always try to join, but it's, as I said, it's in the middle. It's a Monday, one of the busiest day of the week, so in the middle of the day. But thank you for having me and letting me share my experience. And anybody who have any other questions for me, most of the people here know me and have my contact information. But if you don't and you need any input from me, just reach out to Abby and she knows how to get hold of me. And I think they froze again. So while we wait for them to come back, if anybody have any questions for me before they come back and sign off, I'll be willing to answer them.
Can we have your direct contact?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Can we have a direct number for you?
Yes. You can reach me on WhatsApp. My direct number is, I live in Ohio, 937-671-1702. And I can put it in the chat.
Hello, Cecil.
I'm here.
Yeah, I thought you were giving your number.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, in the chat?
Yes, on the chat.
Okay, I'll put it on the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I just have a comment. Just wanted to say thanks for sharing your experiences. It was really nice to hear from both Seto and Wilson, because myself and a lot of family members and friends have been thinking about moving back home to start something. And it was really nice to hear the perspective of people who have already taken that step. So thank you.
Absolutely. Good to see you too. Yeah, I've put my number in the chat and the person who asked for it. So feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help with any questions, resources that I can provide.
Hello.
Hey, you guys are back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to quickly round up. Because the power is.
Oh man, this is just bad.
Okay. So hello. Okay, I can see still on, so I hope you can hear me. I'm just rounding up. Like I said earlier, thank you all so much for coming. And like I said at the beginning, by God's grace, tomorrow is my birthday, so keep me in your prayers. And also keep this show in your prayers. Like what's happening now, pray that our power will be stable. ECG will give us power consistently so that this show will keep rolling. And that's one of the disadvantages of having online shows. You end up encountering all these challenges, but God is on our side, so we're not giving. So God bless you all. And this has been the Abby Money Reveals show, where we speak, we are real, so that we can live. God willing, I'll see you all next week. So if you can unmute yourselves and say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for joining.
And I'll be happy birthday in advance. Okay. God bless you. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you for your time.
So much. God bless you too.
All of you are invited to the birthday party. So bring your shoes, and it's gonna be a lot of dancing.
Okay. Thank you for the invite.
Hit it. Okay. No. Thank you too for coming. Bye.
Bye, everyone.